Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is a super important video for you to watch if your gym is open or it's opening up soon. I don't want you to get hurt. I'm gonna go over everything you need to do to get back to the gym safely and get your gains back and your strength back as fast as possible if you lost some. So stay tuned for this video, guys. So the first thing I wanna go over is how you actually gain muscle in the first place. So how does this happen? Well, first of all, you need a stimulus that signals for growth, and we do this by lifting weights, working out, putting heavy weight on your body, progressively overloading, giving the stimulus from the gym, the weight training. That's the stimulus. But you also need recovery. If you do not recover from training, you're not gaining any muscle, okay? There's a trade-off. You need both of them to get the adaptations from training, okay? So it's like a little trade-off. You need a stimulus, and you need to recover from this stimulus in order to get the adaptation. But what you would do if you just went back to your old lifts and tried to do everything you were doing prior to quarantine, the stimulus would be so large on your body, since you haven't been working out or working out suboptimally for a few months, that you would not be able to properly recover from it. And this has a huge risk for injury and overtraining, and it's just terrible, not good. You're not gonna get the same adaptations as you would if you took it down a notch, lowered the volume, lowered the intensity, and slowly got back to where you were prior to quarantine. So I like to refer to this as the stimulus to recovery ratio. We wanna optimize this specific ratio so that we're recovering from our sessions and we're getting the adaptations as fast as possible, and we're not overdoing it. Now, the first thing I'm gonna want you to do is to forget about your old PRs. Forget about the weight you were lifting prior to quarantine. It does not matter. This is going to be a big challenge for a lot of people, because a lot of people are gonna be like, okay, let's just go back to my old PRs. Let's try and get them. Let's see where I'm at. If you even try to attempt a weight probably close to it, you might get hurt. You might freaking break your pec, like, or rip your pec. Who knows? Like, if you try and max bench once you get back, you're gonna get injured. Like, I'm just gonna say it, you're gonna get hurt. So don't do that. Forget about that old weight, okay? It doesn't matter anymore. You're starting fresh. Shit happens. It happened to everybody. You're not alone. So just get that, like, psychological, if you're attached to it, just forget about it, okay? Your old weight doesn't matter. Start fresh, get a new sheet, get a new notepad, and let's get started. So, some practical applications to training. The first thing I want you to do is adjust your intensity. And by intensity, I just mean effort. How much effort are you putting into your sets? How close to failure are you going? Okay, you don't want to just do everything to failure and max out everything. No, that's terrible. You don't want to do that, especially on compound lifts. I recommend you stay within an RPE of 5 to 6 for your compound lift. So if you're in RPE 6, that means you have 4 reps in the tank. If you have an RPE 5, you have 5 reps in the tank. That's just on a scale of 1 to 10 for RPE. If you're a little confused about what RPE stands for, it means rate of perceived exertion. So how many reps shy of failure are you? That's pretty much what it means. And it's measured from a scale of 1 to 10. If you have an RPE of 10, that means you're going right to failure and you could not get another rep, okay? You're done, okay? And if you're going for an RPE 8, that means you have 2 reps in the tank. RPE 7, you have 3 reps in the tank. RPE 6, 4 reps. RPE 5, 5 reps in the tank. You get the hang of it here. Like, it's not a super hard concept to grasp. It just means how close you are to failure. And for compound movements, when you get back, you don't want to be that close to failure because they're extremely taxing on your body. And if you go close to failure, like RPE 8, 9, 10, you're gonna be extremely sore and not recover properly, and it's not good. So stay shy of failure for sure. Like RPE 5 to 6 is good to start off. For more isolation work, you can go closer to failure. You can go RPE 7 to 8 to start off, I recommend. I usually never recommend you go right to failure because that's a whole nother topic, but you will not be able to accumulate as much volume if you go to failure on every single set, and we don't want that. So if you're going, on bicep curls or one arm pec things, you can go closer to failure than you would on like the bench press or squat, but don't go directly to failure. So for volume, I recommend you cut your volume almost in half, and you do around like maybe 50 to 60% of the volume you were doing. So if you're doing like 20 sets per muscle group a week, which is a lot, you should be doing around like 9 to 11, 12 sets per muscle group a week. Okay, 20 is a lot, but that's just an example. Cut it down a bit. Like if you're doing 4 sets on bench press before the break, do 2. And then if you're doing like 4 sets of cable flies, do 2, you know, things like that. It doesn't have to be exactly 60%, but maybe just cut it down a little bit. Definitely don't do all of the volume you were doing prior to the break. That's going to be terrible, and you're probably going to get hurt if you do that. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, this is complete bullshit. That's so low. Yes, I agree. You can probably do more, but you don't need a shit ton of volume to get your strength back and regain some lost size. You're in that category similar to a new lifter. You're pretty much supercharged. You can gain muscle just like a new lifter would if you're just starting out. Like, it's the same thing, because you haven't been training for a while and you're in that category where you can gain your muscle and your strength back extremely fast, and you don't need to just put on extremely heavy loads. No, you want to relearn movement patterns so you can get your strength back and so you can have proper technique and regain some lost muscle. You don't need extremely heavy loads to do this. Each week, starting from when you get back to the gym, you should slowly be adding in sets to try and get up to where you were. So the first week, maybe do 60% of the volume you were doing, and then, you know, maybe do 70% of the volume you were doing in the next week, and then try and do 75 the next week, and so on. Slowly add it. You're going to be your best judge depending on how you're feeling. It's hard for me to just tell you distinct percentages to add by. I can give you rough guidelines, but if you add 80% and you're like, oh my god, I feel like I'm overtraining, this is too much, but then someone else adds 80%, they can get maybe even do 85, a completely different ball game for 2 different people. So it's going to depend on how you are recovering for yourself. Be your best judge. If you want to add in a few more sets to get where you were, do it, only if you can handle it and only if you're not impairing recovery, because recovery is so goddamn important. So we've covered intensity, we've covered volume, now frequency. And frequency you really don't have to change. I always recommend you hit each muscle group around twice per week. If you want to go 3 times per week and prioritize certain muscle groups, you can do that, but you don't really need to touch frequency. If you want to gain back your strength and size as fast as possible, I do recommend you go twice a week. If you have your volume and intensity in check, then you can definitely go twice a week and relearn the movement patterns and, you know, feel your mind muscle connection again and get all that. It's better to go twice a week and hit each muscle group twice a week. And the exercises you choose are going to be important as well. I want you to focus on choosing exercises where you can really feel your mind muscle connection. You can really feel that squeeze, so you can relearn the movement patterns and relearn what it feels like to squeeze that certain muscle group. So cables and machines are going to be your best bet here. And also, cables and machines won't cause as much muscle damage and you're not going to be extremely sore from them. So they're a great option to go with. With cables and machines, you can go a lot harder, faster. You can add more weight a lot quicker because it's not going to make you extremely fatigued and extremely sore as, let's say, a deadlift would or a massive squat day would. Compounds need to be adjusted a lot more slowly, and you need to add weight and volume on them a lot more slowly than you would, let's say, 1-arm rows or 1-arm tricep extensions. That stuff you can pretty much get back there in 2 to 3 weeks, or maybe even like 2 weeks, you'll be back on your machines and your cables, full volume and pretty much full intensity, because you probably didn't lose that much strength on them, but on your compounds, you probably did lose quite a bit of strength, and you're gonna need to add weight slowly on these because they're gonna make you extremely sore if you just go right back to where you were. Also, compounds carry a higher injury risk, especially now that your body hasn't been, used to training with these compound lifts. So you definitely need to be more careful with them. You need to make sure your form is on point. And this is a great time to relearn form, relearn technique. If you had shit technique before, focus on it now, get your technique on point, and make sure you're not getting hurt when you get back to the gym. Because if you get hurt, literally the day or 2 you get back and you're out for another 3 months, you're gonna lose more muscle, okay? It's not worth it just to be an ego lifter and try and max out or do some bullshit like that. No, I'm not gonna lie, this situation sucks. It's terrible, okay? We wish we were doing it the same weight we were, and probably even more weight right now, but quarantine hit and it screwed us. But just know, you're not alone, okay? I'm in the same situation as you. I'm going back and lifting way less than I was, which is shitty, but everyone else is in the same position. You're not alone. Everyone in the gym is going to be lifting less than they were before. So everyone's in this together, guys. You're not alone. Even though this situation sucks, there are some positives I want to outline for you. First of all, you're going to gain back your muscle and your strength. It's going to come back, and it's going to come back a lot faster than it took you to gain it, okay? You can maybe expect it to take half the time, roughly. If you have good genetics, maybe less than half. If you have, worse genetics, maybe longer. It really depends on how committed you are to this returning plan. If you're committed, you're going to gain your muscle back a lot faster, so don't be stressed out. The muscle memory effect is very, very powerful, okay? It's been outlined in a lot of research papers. It's very real, and you can expect it to happen to you if you were training suboptimally or not training at all. You'll definitely gain your lost strength and size back. Also, this is a prime time for body recomposition. Body recomposition is a very complex topic, and if you guys want me to talk about it in another video and go in depth about it, I can definitely do that. But pretty much you're gaining muscle and losing fat at the exact same time. And since you're in one of 4 categories of people who can do body recomposition the best, which is people who are on steroids, new lifters, people who are obese, and the 4th one being people that are detrained. And we're all detrained, most of us. And this is a prime opportunity for us to gain muscle and lose fat at the exact same time. Also, as I touched on earlier, this is such a good opportunity to relearn technique and relearn form. If your form was off on anything and you had maybe muscle imbalances you just started noticing over quarantine, something like that, make sure you perfect it. Spend the time, invest in learning good form. Good form is key. You don't want to be performing an exercise with crap form. You're just going to lead to a muscle imbalance and probably get hurt, not look good. No, okay? This is a perfect time to keep the weight low, lower the weight, no ego lifting, because no one in the gym really gives a shit, okay? Everyone's weights are super low. No one cares anyway, but right now especially, no one really cares. Everyone knows, everyone's been detrained, and all the weights are going to be low. So keep the weight low, relearn technique, and this is a prime time for you to do it. Guys, so to recap all this information, I have a free returning program I made for you guys. It's going to be in the link in my description, the first link. Check it out. It has everything you need. I have 2 programs. I have one for girls, which is a 4-day upper lower split, and one for guys, which is a 4-day upper lower split as well. These are designed for you to use. You can adjust them to customize them a bit for yourself, but they're a pretty good baseline to follow for most people, and if you just want to follow it without making any adjustments, you can definitely do so. So if you follow this, I'd recommend for 3 to 4 weeks, and over these weeks, slowly add in sets, slowly auto-regulate that, slowly add weight as you get stronger and your muscle comes back. You're going to be your best judge with that, so slowly add to this program, but this is a great start for you to come back, and I don't want you to go to the gym without a freaking plan. So pick this up for free on my website, link in description. Guys, that's gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching me. If you have any questions, comment down below and I want to help you out. Also, I'm accepting a few new coaching clients since gyms are opening up. So if you are interested in being coached by me, which is freaking amazing, I love coaching people, I put so much work into it, send me an email down in the link in the description, Hale-Sanders@gmail.com. Let's chat about your goals. Let's chat about everything. Let's get you shredded. Let's get you massive. I'll do anything you want, okay? I will get you to your goals. I'm so dedicated to my clients. So if you want to be one of my clients, send me an email, and I will definitely see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.